Yeah, I mean, I think it's too easy to kind of just, have a sweeping generalization of what happened this weekend. But I will say this, that um, each weekend is a different weekend in college football. And doing it for as long as I have done it, I come at it each week um, with that vision of you can't assume anything when you're dealing with young men that can be easily distracted today, because the distraction is the enemy of being able to do your job.
And we welcome you to another edition of Tigers Roar. We are, as always, folks, over at Old School Barbecue, taping on this gorgeous Tuesday afternoon, October the 8th. LSU and Ole Miss, the big one, celebrating 100 years of Tigers Stadium. That will be a game. Look, they listed it 6:30. If you've been following the new ABC schedule, it will actually kick off about 6:45. I am Buddy Songy, and my co-host Jonathan Poche will join us. He is behind the scenes doing all kinds of things over here at Pelican Sports Radio and TV. Folks, this is what it comes down to. You're an LSU fan. These guys come over to Tiger Town to play in these games. BK will have a little bit of the Brian Kelly Monday press conference. Also listen to Lane Kiffin yesterday. Neither coach exuding that much confidence right now. It's early in the week. Ole Miss is battling a bunch of injuries. Trey Smith, who is leading the country in receiving yards and is a fantastic wideout, got hurt last week against South Carolina with the high ankle sprain, and he is questionable for this game. But the Rebels, as most of you know, have pushed all the chips into the middle of the poker table. They went out and spent a bunch of money on defensive linemen and defensive players, and they are appreciably better on the defensive side of the football. Lane Kiffin obviously licking his chops to get at the LSU defense. If you remember the game last year, LSU led 49-40 in Oxford with a 9-point lead, actually, with 8 minutes left, and LSU did not finish the game. Ole Miss comes back to score twice to beat them 55-49, but the Tigers have beaten Ole Miss regularly in Baton Rouge. Hope you are doing well right out of the gate on this Tuesday afternoon as we come to you from Pelican Sports TV. We want to ask all of you to put the folks in Florida in your prayers as Hurricane Milton is a Cat 4 right now, probably a Cat 3. If you know anybody in Tampa, Orlando, Daytona Beach, those cities look like they're going to have much damage. Now, it won't be going up the inland like Helene did, but Milton, I got a couple of buddies that have known that are Milton. They've never been too spicy to me, but the Sunshine State has had their fill, and as we know, it's not only loss of life but loss of property. So please pray for those folks in Florida that will be affected in the next 24 to 48 hours with Hurricane Milton. All right, folks, let's get right into it. And without further ado, we're going to bring in Jonathan Poche, who really is the lead dog. You know, Jonathan sets up all of our shows. He's behind the camera. He's on the camera. He coordinates all of that. We couldn't do it without him over here at Pelican Sports TV and radio. And JP, good to talk with you. And good to see you as always. But, man, what a big week. And how about what just happened with college football? Vanderbilt, the first time ever beating a number one team, and it was the Crimson Tide of Alabama, and it wasn't a fluke. Of course, we also know that Tennessee got beaten. So USC got beat, Michigan got beat. LSU moves up to 10 in the coaches' poll, stays at 13 in the AP poll. JP, happy Tuesday, my friend.
Well, great to see you, Bud, man. I know it's a little different over here this week, but, I'm wearing the shades because the Saints took an L last night on Monday Night Football, losing to the Kansas City Chiefs 26-13. Blake Grupe misses an extra point, could have made it 14. They had shots in the game. Shaheed catches a nice touchdown pass. Of course, Derek Carr goes down late. Still don't know the extent of that injury. Waiting to hear about an update today from an MRI, but it wasn't good to see the quarterback go down. The Chiefs, I mean, outside of their red zone offense, dominated the Saints and looked like back-to-back defending world champions. And the Saints are kind of reeling right now. They're determined not to let the snowball effect continue. Lost 3 in a row. Thought that last night's showing was pretty bad from the offensive line, who's really banged up this year. They've had to shovel some guys around. Even had to do it mid-game last night. Of course, they pick up a center that was on the Jets practice squad right before they traveled to London. Throw him in the game. He has to have a lot of snaps last night. So bottled up Kamara, he never really got going. And, of course, Taysom Hill being out for the Saints with those cracked ribs did not help the offense. But Saints lost 3 in a row, looking to rebuild for next week. And, yeah, LSU, this is the weekend. I mean, this is what it's all been building towards. You had the off period at the South Alabama. Ole Miss has been playing 6 in a row. They've had a tough schedule so far. Dropped the game against Kentucky. Thought Kentucky kind of put out the blueprint on how to beat Ole Miss. Ball control, time of possession, keep Jackson Dart and that Rebel offense off the field. Of course, we will hear from Coach Brian Kelly a little bit later on in this program. But, yeah, it's going to be a raucous crowd at night in Death Valley. Lane Kiffin, I did watch a little bit of his press conference, seemed really calm. Both coaches have a lot of respect for each other and the programs that they've built. So it's going to be a showdown, Tigers and the Rebels this weekend.
In case you don't know, folks, Lane Kiffin and Brian Kelly have been having a little fun on Twitter the last 6 months or so. And of course, it goes back. Everybody knows that if Lane Kiffin could win championships on his Twitter account, then he would already have been a champion 2 or 3 times over. I give you the goose egg because that's how many championships Lane Kiffin has ever had, regardless of where he is coaching. And now that Ole Miss laid an egg against Kentucky, JP made a great point. Kentucky had the football almost 40 minutes. Ole Miss had it only about 20 minutes and some change. And so 2-1 time of possession. Kentucky was very physical. As we get into, JP, a lot of the strategy for this game, here are some of my thoughts. By the way, we hope all of you are doing well. I don't know where it goes. Even with an open date, this season is a blur. But, JP, you and I talked about it the last time we were here taping Tigers Roar. This is being taped on October the 8th, the Tuesday before the Ole Miss game. A lot of big upsets. But remember a couple of weeks ago we said incredible parity, not only with college football, but with the NFL football. I don't see any NFL team. Yeah, the Chiefs are 5-0, but they haven't been dominant, and we know some of the other teams that continue to do great things are not as dominant. So not really a dominant NFL team right now. In college football, Alabama gets beat. They drop all the way from 1-7. Georgia has already lost a game. JP, there's only one SEC team left after 6 weeks that's undefeated, and it's Texas. They play in the Red River Shootout. So, once again, you'll have early games that you'll love to see. Oklahoma and Texas. Oklahoma beat Texas last year and has done a good job in Dallas against the Longhorns. But they're still in the top 20. But the biggest surprise that you saw this weekend, was it Vandy, was it Arkansas, or was it all these upsets that just have been happening in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, the parity's been amazing. I really enjoyed watching that game, Alabama versus Vandy. And, of course, Alabama made it close at the end. A 5-point game. They had a chance. But, yeah, you mentioned it. It wasn't a fluke. Vandy was a very physical team in that ball game, dominated line of scrimmage for the most part, put pressure on Milroe. Milroe did not look like himself, which is saying something. When you have a defense that's getting him that uncomfortable, not only he couldn't even do anything with his legs. I mean, they were down by 14 points real quick, and there was a scramble drill trying to get back into the game. Vandy hadn't beat Alabama since 1984. I wasn't alive back then, Bud, man. I don't know if you saw it, but after the game, it kind of went viral. Number 13, who's like a fifth-year senior for Alabama, a leader on the team. Can't remember his name. I think his last name is Moore. Threw a temper tantrum on the side, threw his mouthpiece. Then the referees went to spot the football after the kneel. He kicked the ball out the way. Immediate flag. If that child was playing on Nick Saban's team, what do you think Nick Saban would have done, Bud, man? I mean, it would have been catastrophic on that sideline.
And that's one of the reasons that Coach Saban is now working for ESPN. It is getting to be a monster to control these attitudes, these personality traits, and these incredible desires. Here we go, folks. I'm going to give you some tidbits what I think early on in the week are going to be crucial. And JP, I'll give you 3 or 4 of these Manda spicy tidbits. Don't forget, Manda smoked sausage is the official smoked sausage of LSU athletics, so enjoy that before and after. Going to be an incredible atmosphere. Weather looks good. Anybody that grew up many, many years ago, you know what this game was. It was a rivalry game, but LSU is not going to be able to control 2-1 time of possession, so you're going to have to convert on third downs. You're going to have to score touchdowns instead of kicking field goals. But more importantly, and we'll get back and talk a little bit more in deep depth about this, I think most Tiger fans are expecting LSU to score 35 or whatever. The question is, how much pressure can you put on Jackson Dart, their excellent quarterback, and how well are you going to tackle? We'll get into some of those nuances and intricacies. Hope everybody doing well. Once again, a Tuesday afternoon here on Pelican Sports TV. JP and myself, Buddy Songy, back right after this word from some of our great sponsors right here on Tigers Roar.
Looking for a certified Honda? Get your dream deal now at Team Honda Used Cars. Get 0.99% financing on some of our most popular models, including Accords and Pilots. Honda dreams come true at Louisiana's #1 certified Honda dealer, Team Honda.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
You could be driving a Honda.
Now's the best time to get an award-winning Honda during the Honda Summer Event at Team Honda. Find top performance and unbeatable reliability with our outstanding selection of new Hondas. Save on your new Honda today at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
And we welcome you back Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon. You'll see replays all throughout the week. Don't forget about all of our shows right here on Pelican Sports TV. Jonathan Poche behind the scenes, Buddy Songy in here talking. Let me just give you a little preview We talked about how incredible it was last weekend with all of the upsets. Here we go, 11 o'clock, Clemson at Wake Forest. I mentioned Clemson for two reasons. LSU opens the season at Clemson next year, and the ACC is desperately trying to get two teams in the CFP12. They've already cheated not once but twice for the Hurricanes, trying to get Clemson in that second spot. They are playing appreciably better. South Carolina didn't have much offense, got shut down by Ole Miss. They're at Bama. That also is an 11 o'clock game on Saturday. The Red River Shootout with Texas and OU in Dallas, 2:30 on ABC. Penn State at USC. USC loses a second game in the Big Ten to Minnesota on the road. That loss to USC is smelling worse every weekend you see college football. Of course, as everybody knows, when you start talking about the Florida-Tennessee game, lost a lot of luster, but Tennessee now doesn't have any margin for error. All these teams that have lost one game this early, they've got to go 10-2 if they're going to be in. No, I don't believe it. I've had the question posed my way. Don't see any way, shape, or form a team's going to go 9-3 and make it to the playoff. Ole Miss at LSU, 6:30 on your listing, 6:45 kick. JP, celebrating 100 years of Tiger Stadium, and if there's ever a game where BK and the team needs this crowd, it is going to be Saturday night. It's Ole Miss. Some people even throw in, instead of the M, the P word. Oh, you know what? But lo and behold, you got to give them a little respect. But then again, let's go back 2 years ago, JP. In year one, Kiffin came in undefeated, and LSU sent him home. They proceeded to lose the next 4 games. This Ole Miss team, one of the things that they have in common with the Saints, incredible amount of injuries. So your early assessment, and I think one of the big deals here, Zy Alexander is going to be back at corner for LSU, and Trey Smith, of course, is their great wide receiver that they picked up from La Tech, leads the country in yardage. Man, if he can't play and Zy Alexander back, that's a plus for LSU.
Yeah, but, man, there's been a question, can LSU go score for score with Ole Miss? Would it come down to a shutout? And I was in Tiger Stadium 2 years ago when the Ole Miss team came in, and, LSU put it on them. They were very physical. You started believing in BK after that win for the Tigers, but Ole Miss's defense has gotten much better since last season. They paid a lot of money to do so. They got big on the defensive line. They're good on the edge. They have very good linebackers, and they play good in the secondary. I mean, they are a talented SEC defense. We talked a little bit about how Kentucky controlled the time of possession, controlled the ball, and was able to keep that offense from the Rebels on the sidelines. But, they can score at will, but I've been impressed with their defense so far this year. I think they're much better than they have been in the previous years under Lane Kiffin. I think Lane Kiffin has been more relaxed, both on social media and his press conferences, both in college game day on the field, joking around with Coach Nick Saban, or he's bringing his daughter to do makeup the day of games to get ready. Like, the guy just looks like he's in his element right now. He's always been a great play caller. The offensive scheme is very complicated. It goes on a lot of reads, so it's tough to even game plan for it. And, LSU's defense needs to prove that they are an SEC caliber defense, or they're going to get a lot of points scored up against them on Saturday. Yeah. Now, is LSU able to score points? Absolutely. Garrett Nussmeier is going to throw it all over the park. The wide receivers had a little bit of time to get healthy. Mason Taylor's leading the team in catches. He's having a great year. And the running back room, very talented, starting with number 29, Caden Durham, the freshman. He's added a spark for that run team. And, LSU can put up points. Will they be able to go score for score with Ole Miss? I don't know about that.
Well, first of all, I want to see Caden Durham get the start. We saw what happened last time against South Alabama. Folks, he's got the jets. He's got to put your foot in the move and make you miss. Once he gets some green grass, he takes it to the house. He can catch it out the backfield. We are hoping. Now, we'll get verification from Coach Kelly on his final press opportunity later on in the week on Thursday at about 4:45. We'll see if Chris Hilton is finally going to make his debut. Number 3 looked really good in the spring, looked really good the first 2 fall camps, had a bone bruise, so you'd like to see him get back. LSU has a plethora of wide receivers. JP, when you were talking about Ole Miss and that defensive front, they put a lot of pressure, so Joe Sloan is going to have to conjure up a great game plan with all of the offensive brain trust. BK will put his 2 cents in. All those offensive coaches will put their 2 cents in. but I want to see the quick passing game. And, oh, by the way, JP, this has been a popular call in high school for many years. I saw it even last night with Kelsey with the Chiefs. I liked the little shuttle pass that was very popular over the weekend. And one of the reasons Vandy beat Alabama, they converted on third down. They made big plays, but they called great plays. It starts with the play call. On the flip side, Ole Miss snaps it every 22 and a half seconds. So it is problematic for your defense because when they get going and you don't stop them, it's hard to substitute your specialist in. So you got to tackle better, but JP, one of the keys for this LSU defense, got to get pressure. Jackson Dart got beat up by Kentucky. They gave up some sacks. LSU needs to make him uncomfortable. LSU needs to knock him around. And once a guy gets in, but back to the atmosphere, you were there 2 years ago. Can they, a lot of people comparing this. They want to see the atmosphere in this game Saturday night comparable to LSU Alabama 2 years ago when, of course, they rushed the field after that big win. So you're going to be there or you're going to be watching it on the tube like me?
No, I'll be watching it on the tube this year. Didn't get the tickets we got last season, but, yeah, it's going to be a great atmosphere. I mean, the nighttime with those new lights they put in, the big screen, all those speakers, and everybody's going to be drinking all day, bud, man. So, yeah, nothing hold nothing back. It's time to let it all fly come Saturday, 6:30.
One other big game that if you're like me, you're a puncher. No, we don't fight, but we use that remote control out. I got to change the batteries every couple of months because I'm pushing so many games. But Oregon is going to be hosting Ohio State. Ohio State's 2, Oregon is 3. So that is a big game that will once again is there going to be an undefeated regular season Big 5 conference champion? Who knows? I don't think Texas is going to run the table. I think there'll be no SEC team that goes undefeated. JP, real quick, other than the SEC, the incredible parity, and I know you've noticed this, the teams that have historically been down, Vandy, Arkansas, I don't want to say Kentucky, but Kentucky that snaps Ole Miss and beats them over there. You just don't have any cupcakes in the schedule. And if you watched the games last week, one of the things that your brain said is, uh-oh, baby, this schedule that we have on paper is no longer easy. After this Ole Miss game, LSU travels to Arkansas. That game is going to be on ESPN at 6 o'clock. We'll find out the time of the following game at A&M. And A&M took Missouri out back and just pulverized and opened up a can of whoop-you-know-what. 41-7. So now you got to worry about Arkansas on the road. You got to worry about A&M on the road. You get another open date, and then you finish with hosting Bama at Florida, hosting Vandy, hosting Oklahoma. JP, there's no such thing as a schedule card winner with your little pin anymore. You got to go week to week, and we're not going to worry about what's down the road, but this schedule got appreciably harder in a perception standpoint after last weekend.
Right, and LSU jumps some spots in the polls, so you're like, oh, great, have a week off, and we still move up to the top 10 because, 4 of the top 11 got beat. But it goes back to the intro clip that we showed for this show. Mike Scarborough asked Coach Brian Kelly, did you see the scores this weekend, and was it due to NIL, or what is contributing to this parity? And Coach Brian Kelly pretty much said, it's just an investment in football. Yes, the top programs are going to be the top programs. They have the money to spend to get these players, but they're not, 3, 4, 5 deep anymore. These kids are transferring other places and just getting a shot to play. It's good for college football. The playoffs are going to be wild, but man, if you weren't excited before you saw the first 4 weeks of this college football season, get excited now because it's going to be a wild ride come this 12-team playoff.
And, of course, as most of you know, Tigers Stadium, when it is lit. Now, I'm going to give you a sobering stat right here, folks. Ole Miss has won the first quarter in the first 6 games, 99-6. LSU has had a propensity to start slow. JP, the last thing you want to look up and see Saturday night is Ole Miss 14-0, Ole Miss 14-3, Ole Miss 10-0. Got to get a quick start. So I ask you on this Tuesday afternoon, considering this situation with Ole Miss and their offense, if BK wins the toss, does he take the football or does he defer?
Man, what a tough call. I guess I would have to defer. Just play the odds. You don't want to get fought down behind early, but you want to have that ball in the second half, especially if you are down. You want to get that ball to start. If I win the toss, I'm deferring almost every time, especially with a game that might turn into a shutout. You want to have that extra possession in the second half. Great question, Bud, man. We'll see. I mean, let's take it out of our hands, let Ole Miss win the toss, and they defer. How about that?
Jackson Dart, of course, is in top 5 stats all throughout the country with yardage, touchdowns, the whole 9 yards. He can get rattled. And once again, Savion Jones, Braden Swinson, all those guys coming from the edge. I'm hoping Deshaun Womack has a big stat. Parrish Shan, he's going to play both inside and outside. And as everybody knows, Blake Baker's had a couple of weeks to get ready because they had the open date. There are rumors and innuendos that they're going to move Javian Toviano, who's number 25, to the star position. That would put Major Burns back in the secondary, hopefully with Deshaun Spears. JP, one of the biggest things that LSU's got to improve on the back end of the season is tackling from the safety spot. You've got to come up and support the run. But as we've seen the last couple of years, JP, you just can't afford to give up that deep ball over the top. And you saw the Saints. Adebo has had 2 big weeks where he's given up pass interference calls. And the great thing in college, JP, you can grab somebody and it's only 15 yards versus a spot foul. So I'm hoping that if the DBs and the corners and the safeties do get beat, they'll take the 15-yard penalty before the touchdown. But you know Lane Kiffin is licking his chops after looking at the way the safeties and corners play. So you got to put pressure. They're going to snap it quick. You got to figure out how you can get your specialists on the field. And you also have to, once again, when you get inside the red zone, score touchdowns and not field goals. Hey, we got to take a quick timeout, word from some of our great sponsors, and then we'll be back with a little BK, Brian Kelly, letting you hear from the coach from his Monday press conference right here on a Tuesday edition of Pelican Sports TV. Stay cool. And how about this weather, folks? Back right after this.
Tremonti's has meat, Tremonti's has seafood, Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters, huge wine and liquor selection, beer and all the spices you need, Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats, ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs, 20 flavors of sausage for the grill, daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements, and that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
If you're ready for a new car that's designed to take you where you want to go, whenever you want to go, now's the time to find out all there is to know about the new Mazda CX-50, named an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus award winner. Save on your new Mazda right now at Team Mazda on Airline.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
And we welcome you back, a special edition of Tigers Roar. We are in transition with some of our camera work. JP behind the scenes, buddy Songy in here as we're going to set you up. BK, everybody knows that he does not have a great record against top 10 teams. That's not a knock on the coach, but this is a big one. And if you saw the outcomes of the games this past weekend, Arkansas no longer considered a cupcake. A&M's really good, and they have beaten LSU over there. Alabama, the fans were so upset that they lost, they really got incredibly mad because DeBoer wore a T-shirt on the sidelines to the game. Look, it's a crazy scenario. It's a crazy game. So many things have happened since BK took the job. Here's Brian Kelly with the LSU media and opening remarks as well as questions on a Tuesday afternoon right here on Pelican Sports TV.
All right, back to football. Last week, obviously, an off week for us. I got a chance to really work on a number of things that needed improvement within our team as many get an opportunity to look at that off week. And I think, earlier in the season, it wasn't really a recovery week for us as much as it was shore up some things offensively, defensively, and special teams. I thought we had a great week. Gave the guys the opportunity on Friday and Saturday to recovery. And then we were back at it with meetings and weight training yesterday. So now we get the opportunity to welcome Ole Miss into Tiger Stadium. Exciting matchup between two teams that are certainly familiar with themselves, and certainly a team that we have a great deal of respect for. Lane's done a great job there, and certainly a team that is prolific offensively and playing great defense right now. And I think that that's the biggest, I would say, if you look at their team last year to this year, they're just playing great defense, coupled with the weapons that they have on the offensive side of the ball. So we've got a great challenge in front of us. Jackson Dart, obviously we know about him as a 3-year starter now. Trey Harris, an outstanding wide receiver. Great depth at the running back position. And then defensively, I think they're tops in the country. One of the top teams in terms of sacks. Love the linebackers, Paul, Daughtery. And then, of course, Ivy, Nolan, Walter Nolan. I think we all know about him in terms of what he's been able to do in this league. Off the edge, Princely is a guy that really balances their pass rush. And then, in the backfield, Trey Amos is an outstanding corner right here from Louisiana. So it's a very talented football team and deserving of their national ranking. And, again, a great challenge for us. We're excited about it. We know where we're at in terms of the next 7 weeks. We have SEC opponents. Our team is, again, excited about the challenge of playing at home in Tiger Stadium. And looking forward to a Saturday night in Tiger Stadium on national television. That's why you come to LSU, and we're excited about the matchup. So that, we'll open up to questions.
Brian, obviously, when you look at your defense, basically from this game last year to now, where do you think y'all have really improved, and where did you kind of want to work on during the bye week that you need to keep getting better moving forward?
Oh, my goodness. Obviously you're going to turn on the film from last year and you're going to look at it and go, okay, that's not what we want to be defensively. And, trying to do too many things. Players that, certainly would say that, from a coaching standpoint and a playing standpoint, we're much further along. That's not the same defense. So, look, the game comes down to when you're playing an up-tempo team like Ole Miss, you've got to get lined up. You got to get your cleats in the ground. You got to tackle. And I think we probably talked about this last year after the game. It didn't tackle very well, didn't get lined up, and it didn't play fundamentally sound football. And so, it starts with that premise, and then you move from there, right? Different looks, try to get the quarterback off schedule, and at the end of the day, try to make any offense, regardless of what they do, one-dimensional. And that we'll try to do that again this year.
Coach, the scores, the parity this past Saturday, is that here to stay because of NIL, transfer portal, and your thoughts on the weekend scores?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's too easy to kind of just, have a sweeping generalization of what happened this weekend. But I will say this, that each weekend is a different weekend in college football. And doing it for as long as I have done it, I come at it each week with that vision of you can't assume anything when you're dealing with young men that can be easily distracted today, because the distraction is the enemy of being able to do your job to the best of your ability when you need to do it. And so, look, across the board, there are really good players. Everybody's got scholarships. Everybody's invested in their program. So one thing that I will grant you is that there are really good football teams across the country, and if you're not prepared to play your best, then certainly you can get beat. And I think we saw that this weekend. But whether it's NIL or whether it's the transfer portal or, I don't know that that's necessarily the root cause of it. I think it's the investment in college football across the board, and the fact of the matter is it's so much easier to get distracted. There's so much information out there. And I think the teams that do a really good job of not getting distracted from week to week are the ones that can stay on course longer.
Coach, for your younger players, Deshaun Spears in the back end, Caden Durham, and a lot of other guys that have gotten action, what can the reset of a bye week do for them, where maybe the first couple weeks they're bright-eyed and obviously kind of, drinking through a fire hose, you could say? What can that reset do for them just to be able to carry them throughout the rest of the year?
Yeah, good question. I think what it allows them to do is look at the game from a perspective of you still have to be able to play it as if you were in high school. And so what I mean by that is you still have to play fast. You can't overanalyze this game. And I think when you're young, you have a tendency to take in too much information, and it slows you down. And both of those guys and their talent, they have to let their talent speak for themselves. Now, it doesn't mean you forget all your teachings and you don't trust what you've been taught, but there has to be that end of, I need to go play, and I need to let it go. And I think the bye week or the off week allows them to kind of look at it and say, you know what, I know what I'm doing. I've been coached. I have the technique down. Now I just need to let it go. And I think that that's the opportunity for them in the past week.
Hey, Brian. Last year you said this was kind of an evaluation game, right? And Wilson's question, I would ask just the opposite side of the ball. What did you learn from that game offensively that you feel like better prepares you to take on a team or any team that could score as much as they do?
You mean this game that we played last year against Ole Miss, what it told us?
Yes, offensively.
I think, if you look at that game in itself, I mean, we had a lead, late in the game and we didn't finish. I mean, that's how we felt in that game. We didn't finish that game off. We had an opportunity to close that game out. We did not. We didn't make some plays late in the game that really could have put that game away. And I think that was kind of the disappointment we had. Look, when you play really good teams and you have the ball last, you need to finish opponents off. You need to control the ball. You need to be the last one with the football. Because when you have two prolific offenses and you have great offenses, you have really good quarterbacks, the team that's able to control it late in the game, to me, I think is the difference. And so, I think when we look at it from our perspective is if we have the ball late in the game, we need to close out the game, whether it's running it, throwing it, whatever the case may be. Control the game at the end by closing it out.
Are Caden, CJ, and Zai expected to practice this week?
Yes.
All three?
Yes.
You've spoken some this season about just how the coordinators have really been kind of trying to learn the personnel packages and just guys that are, should be playing with whoever on the field at certain times. Just what did the bye week do, I guess, for you guys as a staff to kind of reevaluate and kind of assess what you want to do with the roster and kind of the personnel going into, obviously, the next 2 months of SEC play?
Yeah, I think, the first thing you do is an exhaustive self-scout, right? What are your tendencies? What tendencies do you need to break? What are you doing in the run game? What are you doing in the pass game? What are you doing relative to your fronts and coverages and pressures and third down? And so the first thing you're doing is an extensive self-scout. And are there any tendencies there that you can break? And are there things there that you're doing really well that you want to build on, or not so well that you need to, certainly work on in the bye week? Then it's the evaluation of, the body of work through those first 5 weeks. Who are the guys that have built that trust that you can put on the field? And so as you go into these 7 weeks of SEC opponents, those are the guys that you want on the field. So I think we've done, both from a technical and tactical standpoint, the work necessary, and then from a personnel standpoint, who are the guys that we want to put on the field? That's been really a lot of the work this past week.
You've talked about the back end of your defense a little bit. Would you like to get into the personnel you said you were going to use last week to maybe try to find that group, that pairing that you like in the safety position specifically?
Well, I think we found them. I think it now becomes, for us more than anything else, is what do those rotations look like? And I think I said this last week. I don't think anybody's in a position that they're going to play 70 plays, right? So, what do those rotations look like? Is it a first, second down rotation? Is it a third down? Is it a nickel dime? Is it a pass rush situation? Is it a short yardage? So it's really kind of delineating out who's on the field in what situations. And I think we've got a better understanding of that, and it's much more clear, moving forward.
And, of course, the coach is always going to look dapper, wears the nice clothes on Mondays. And, look, everybody should know this is a big game for Ole Miss. They're probably out of the mix with the playoff if they lose this game. LSU right now, playoffs, don't even think about that. They've got a lot of tough games. But Tiger Stadium, you've got to bring it. Not sure about all the festivities, but they're going to have all kinds of set up to get you fired up and ready to go. 6:45 actual kick on ABC. JP and I will take this quick timeout, and we come back and talk a little bit more about college football and also give you about 6 or 7 minutes of Dennis Allen after the tough loss last night in Kansas City. Saints fall prey to the defending world champs, but they are battered, bruised, and injured, and it does not look good. We'll get the latest word this week about Derek Carr and the severity of his injury. Give Kamara credit. He's playing hurt, but a lot of new names. And how about that big number 50? JP's going to talk about him when we come back on a Tuesday edition of Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
In the race for greatness, attention to detail counts. Just like Toyota, where precision and reliability meet outstanding performance. Shop and save on our selection of new Toyotas and enjoy your moment at Team Toyota, I-12 at the O'Neill Lane exit.
Caught spiders?
Premier Pest Services.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
And we welcome you back. Couple more segments here on a Tigers Roar. JP behind the scenes, Buddy Songy in the house. Enjoy this early weather, folks. We're going to be in the 60s, as we alluded to earlier in the program. Please put your prayers towards all the folks in Tampa, Orlando, and Daytona Beach as Hurricane Milton seems to be headed their way and making landfall tomorrow night or Thursday morning. JP, I'm asking you, even during the show, about big number 50. What a great story. By the way, when do you think we'll find out the availability of Derek Carr, and what did you see as a potential? How long could he be out? Because, look, this year is going to be tough to salvage anyway, but you don't have Derek Carr, and there's so many no-names because the Saints have just had a horrendous year with luck and injuries.
Well, listening to his post-game press conference last night, he said it wasn't from the hit. It was a lower back injury that he just felt something tweak when he tried to rear back and let it go deep to Pimpton, which I didn't like the play call. Once you're facing cover zero, you throw a prayer up to a guy who – do you even know who 84 is? I mean, you're a sports fan. You follow it very closely. Do you even know who 84 is? I had to find out his name last night was Tipton, which I still don't know his first name.
Yeah.
Don't like how you choose that guy to go to with the game on the line.
Yep.
But, yeah, Derek Carr getting hit, you would have hoped it would have been from the contact, but unfortunately it wasn't. He wasn't able to go. He pretty much said last night they could have gave him a shot and got him back in there. He would have gone back in, but they didn't have enough time. So wait on MRI today, hopefully get some results. You cannot lose Derek Carr for any amount of time if you expect to win. Jay Kaner is not the guy, and Spencer Rattler is not ready. Neither one of those backups are top 50 in the league. You see what Andy Dalton's been able to do with Carolina. Neither one of these guys are Andy Dalton. I promise you that. So if you lose Derek Carr, it's going to be really hard for the Saints offense. Colin Saunders, I mean, the guy last year wore 99. They put him in at fullback at times. He had great feet. You saw how much of an athlete he was. Of course, they had to go into how his brother's a backup dancer for Taylor Swift last night. There was a connection they've been waiting the whole game to bring up. But I want to show the play, Bud, man. So we'll go ahead and roll it. This is Colin Saunders' interception. Incredible catch at the end zone. And then the way he ran it, I want you guys to see it. Here's Colin Saunders, his play from last night.
Smith-Schuster, and there he is.
Great hands. He tucks that ball high and tight, runs through a tackle. Should have got a block right there from Breesy, but I think they know he'd run that far. Out to the 35. A great play. Gave the defense a lot of life. Gave the offense life, too. Actually ended up going down, getting some points from it. Set up this drive from Derek Carr. He finds Alvin Kamara. And, yeah, Boston Moreau runs a really clean route at the end zone right here, down at the red zone. You'll see it right here. It was Derek Carr's third read, so it's just great design by Clint Kubiak. He gets open, and that's a touchdown from Boston Moreau. Unfortunately, Blake Groupie would miss the extra point, and that was pretty much all the highlights that we had for the Saints in this game against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, look, as we said, you need a program. As you alluded to, I had the same reaction with 84. I had seen him the week before, but what are you doing making him your primary receiver on a play of that importance? Oh, by the way, real disappointed last night with Chris Olave. Didn't see him show up. Foster Moreau, once again, beat cancer earlier in the year, has been an excellent blocker. Now he's catching some big-time balls and got a touchdown last night. All right, we're going to let you hear from the head coach, Dennis Allen, and here's his comments after the tough loss to Kansas City last night on Monday Night Football.
In the game today, got out-coached. They did a good job. We really couldn't get a whole lot going either side of the ball offensively. We really couldn't get anything going in the run game or in the passing game. Defensively, I felt like we made too many mistakes early on in the game. I don't think we tackled as well as we needed to. And so I think for the first time this year, I felt like, we didn't play the way we're capable of playing. So I was disappointed in that. And so I think, as a coaching staff, we got to go back and look at what we need to do better to try to, improve and put our guys in better positions to be successful.
What happened to Derek?
It's a left side. That's all I really know.
Is he going to have to get more tests?
I have no idea.
What about it made it that it was clear that he had to leave the game, though, at that time?
I mean, look, the game's going on. The trainers told me he's got a left side injury and he's out. And so I haven't gotten any updates on that, guys.
Are you guys worried at all that, like, a Debo in those situations might become something that teams try to go to? It kind of felt like they went back to it after that first one was kind of close. Like, is that a trend you got to kind of?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're going to take their shots. I'm going to have to go back and look at the, tape and see, what I thought of the call and whether or not I agree with it or not. But, yeah, I mean, they we got to force them to have to make completions and finish the catch. And so I think we just got to look at it and see what we can do better.
You mentioned the team not playing up to the standard. How much was that maybe the Chiefs winning in the trenches on both sides?
Yeah, probably some. I thought defensively, I thought they did a good job of controlling the line of scrimmage and made it really difficult for us to be able to run the ball. And they had some good pressure packages that gave us some problems that we needed to do a better job of picking some of those things up. I thought the biggest thing from a defensive perspective was our inability really to get Patrick Mahomes down at times when we had opportunities to. I thought he did some really unbelievable things and made some really good plays in terms of scrambling, and that was a challenge for us.
You won the coin toss and thank you to the city. How big was that interception as far as just protecting?
Yeah, look, I think you certainly don't want to, start a game off that way. We had a few good plays there to start the game, and then, we throw the interception and kind of all the momentum goes to them a little bit. And I felt like, we had some things that we liked to open up against these guys. And if we could go down and get some points and maybe get a little bit of momentum ourselves, that would be big in this game. And unfortunately, it didn't work out.
Obviously, you knew with some of the offensive line injuries that you probably have to get rid of the ball quickly and things like that. But what was something you hoped would be effective on offense tonight that wasn't?
Well, look, we only had, 49 offensive plays and, a little under 20 minutes of time of possession. So, there really wasn't a lot that we were able to kind of get done really in either phase, offense or defense. And I thought we made some uncharacteristic mistakes that we hadn't made in the first 4 weeks of the season. And so, like I said, I think that's why we got to go back and look at, what are we asking our guys to do, and make sure we're putting them in the best position to be successful.
And then there were a handful of deep shots to Shaheen and Tim that didn't connect. Was that something that was heavy in the game plan, or that was just like the best that was offered in those opportunities?
Well, I think we went into the game saying that we wanted to take some shots down the field. And we talked about, they don't give up a lot of explosives, but there's going to be a few opportunities that we've got to be able to make the moment of truth play. And, unfortunately, we weren't able to make those on some of those deep shots down the field.
It seemed like they were taking Olave away, 2 targets, 1 catch.
Yeah, look, they did some good things to try to take him away. I think I'll have to go back and look at the tape and see exactly what all they were doing. But look, they got a good team. They got a good defense. Spags does a really nice job of what they do defensively. Offensively, they have some talented players on offense, and obviously they've got the engine and Pat Mahomes that makes it go. So, they played better than we did tonight.
What is the decision to have Lucas Patrick shift over to left guard when he came back?
Yeah, I just thought we wanted to, make a change there at left guard. I'm not sure. Again, I'd like to go back and look at the tape, but I think, we just felt like we might need to put somebody else in there at left guard.
Dennis, I think you defensively overall today, just a lot of stops down in the red zone, but they were obviously getting there.
Yeah, I thought the one thing that we did well and defensively was red zone defense. I thought we played well, in the red zone, but I thought Mahomes made too many plays scrambling. I thought we made too many mistakes. Had some free runners, which we don't usually do, and so look, I got to put that on me. I mean, I got to do a better job of getting those guys, understanding what we're asking them to do, and get them better prepared to play.
Obviously, a dejected Dennis Allen after that tough loss. Saints got close, but never were able to get the lead, and Kansas City once again goes to 5-0. Saints 2-3. They will host Tampa Bay this Sunday in the Dome. And JP, Tampa Bay has plenty on their plate with Hurricane Milton coming in here in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Well, yeah, the Hurricanes coming. They're also 3-2 in the NFC South, along with the Atlanta Falcons. So Saints need to take care of business against the Buccaneers, who've been playing pretty well. Baker Mayfield resurgence at Tampa. He's playing good at quarterback. They're a very talented roster, and they know the Saints very well. So yeah, hopefully the Saints can handle business.
All right, real quick, folks. LSU and Ole Miss, get out there, enjoy your libations, your Manda sausage, boudin, all the delicacies. Here we go, real quick. Got to stop the run, got to tackle better, got to be successful on first down, got to convert on third down. And as we know, folks, 2 years ago, Ole Miss came in here as a favorite. Rebels are now a 2.5-point favorite. JP, something tells me LSU finds a way to win. And I'm looking at 35-33. JP, great doing the show with you today.
Of course, always. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Thanks, Bud, man. Did a great job.
See you in a couple weeks, everybody.